Hey, hey, hey. Happy new and beautiful day. I'm trying to get this situated. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, there we go. Happy new and beautiful day, everyone. Joyous, joyous, joyous now moment. I am so grateful. Oh, wow. I can't even do this today. Okay, well. It's not going to work. It's not good. And try it again and see what happened. Oh, okay. Well, I'll try it this way then. And see if we do it this way. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day, for I am having a beautiful, magnificent day. I'm so divinely grateful to be in this space and to be in this present moment. I hope that you guys are having an amazing, is it afternoon? Yes, it's almost 1 o'clock. Oh gosh, time is just moving. I can't send it in the group chat, so I don't know why that took place, but you can go figure that. I don't have no idea. But we just gonna do a little workaround. I'm just gonna send it to my faithful few that I know that would appreciate it in resonance. So let me do that really quickly. But in the meantime, in between time, I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. I hope that everyone is having an amazing day. And I am having an amazing day, a wonderful day. Today is a beautiful day. I had some very positive things that happened today, to which I am so grateful to see happen. Things are actually moving in the essence of alignment, and I'm grateful about that. You know, all hopeful and healing for all parties that are involved. And I'm just putting that, to continuously have a forward movement and momentum where that is involved. So yes, I'm grateful for that. But as you guys can see, I wanted to go ahead and, as I did with the last live that I did, I talk about, survival reality. And now I want to explain in how I understood my now moment. And now I want to talk about expanded awareness, explained. Okay. And I'm going to give you, how I understand it, overstand it. And then I'm going to give you a breakdown in a more practical sense of understanding expanded awareness. So that way we can begin to have some sense of, baseline sense of understanding what this actually is in terms of conscious awareness, right? Because I know that, we go on with our everyday, walk in life in terms of how we just, we get up, we go to work, or we do what we do. We have our family, and we have our entertainment. We have our things that we believe in. We have our things that, we take part in, and what we would like to, have in an experience. And, we just go on our merry day, and we don't really have really the true logistics that goes along with it, right? And so what the true logistics allows is when you begin to now peel back the layers. And when you begin to peel back the layers, these are just little small parts that begin to allow, for the expansions to commence. These little small, minute things, when one just gets to become a little bit more curious as to, the layered, peeling back the layers. You come out of the comfort zone of your everyday routine, getting up, going to work, family, vacations, and different things of that nature. And so out of that everyday fixed, reality that we've just been accustomed to do, whether it's just going to church, family, blah, 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 and, politics, everything that we are used to in just a regular routine regimented thing of, the fixed reality, we start to peel back the layers and we start to explore many different things. And when we start, seeking out the circumference of what, we have been taught and told, then that's when we begin to start, expanding outside of the scopes of what, is maybe socially acceptable or different things like that. And sometimes in the limited reality, some of the things that we begin to seek outside of that to which has been fixed or to that to which we have been taught and told, it has its, in the limited mind or in the survival mind, it has its vibrational stances where how the consciousness understands it, the limited consciousness understands it, or the fixed consciousness understands it vibrationally. So sometimes the fixed consciousness may understand it from a vibrational stance, from a vibrational stance as, oh, this is not so good, or it's negative, or it's something that goes against the reality. And remember, in the last live, anything that is operating from a fixed reality, that in that particular consciousness that's moving from a limited state, right? If that consciousness feels that the reality is becoming threatened, it's going to start generating things to denounce the expanded awareness. So it's going to make it whatever you have decided to seek outside the circumference of, it's going to start to give a narration to deter you from that to which you have sought outside of what that fixed reality has generated and solidified as the true reality, right? And so that's where, as I've said before, the safety, the safety or the threat reality comes into the fixed reality consciousness of what we perceive and understand as the three-dimensional reality or the fixed consciousness, right? But now we're talking about the expanded consciousness, and the expanded consciousness is basically seeking outside of the circumference of what you have been limited to perceive or to perceptualize, right? And my understanding is that, and I wrote it down so that I could be, I wrote my thoughts down so that I could be very specific about how I understand expanded awareness. And what I wrote down in essence is that expanded awareness for me allows for one to have the chosen ability to experience a perception beyond the limited scopes and the construct of the fixed reality of the 3D consciousness. Okay. And what that means is it allows your awareness, to give your awareness a projectional lens to experience something outside of the 3D fixed reality, right? In the physical plane, in physical form, if you allow that essence of light to come into your physical body, okay? Right? To be able to integrate that light within your physical essence of being, okay? That's only if you're able to allow that light to come in. Now, are you able to have the essence of awareness without integration of the of that light essence into the physical plane, into integration of your body? Yes, you can have the awareness. You can have the perception that there is something else more to the meets the eye. But if you do not integrate that awareness into, or make room for that awareness to become, then you're going to have what they call mixed signals. And that's a bit frustrating, right? That is going to become a bit frustrating because you're still going to be experiencing realities that you may not prefer to experience, while having an awareness that says there are other possibilities of realities out there. Okay, because you're going to be seeking, when you begin to seek outside of the circumference of what you have been taught and told, that means that you have initiated the ability to expand your awareness then from that to which you have been, somewhat tried to be solidified in. So you're the curiosity, right? The curiosity has allowed you and afforded you to begin to seek outside. And what happens is that you begin to find resonances depending on where you are at. But a lot of times when you don't integrate, a lot of, or make room for a lot of what it is make room for what it is that you are seeking outside of the circumference of what you've been taught and told, that's when you still remain integrated into the energy. So what happens is that, because what was happening when people were seeking outside the in expanded awareness, and they were holding on to the survival energy, this is why a lot of people that were expanding their awareness. Hola, Cosmos. Cosmos has entered the building. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Welcome, my brother. Thank you for being here. And what was happening, because no one was actually integrating the higher light that would actually give you an ascensional higher band of frequency, and you were having the expansion of awareness. I'm grateful. Thank you, my friend. I'm happy to see you as well. Kind of, sort of can see you, just feeling the energy of you. Can't see you, but I can feel the energy of you. I'm grateful. So what was happening in the expanded awareness, and the reason why a lot of the expanded awareness, where we were interpreting Ra, we were interpreting the Anunnaki, we were interpreting all of these celestial events and different things of that nature. So we were seeking out the circumference of, the fixed reality. But because we were not integrating the light quotient that would allow us the higher frequencies in the biology to emit the projection on the physical plane, we were interpreting the higher, the information, but we were projecting that interpretation in a denser vibrational state, right? So we were running the B-roll in a lower vibrational state. We were running that information from a distorted perception. Okay. So this is why, all of the information that was coming through in terms of that we could have perceived in a more higher state of information vibrationally, right? When we began to seek outside the circumference in an expanded way, but we were filtering it through an integrated biology in a more denser state or a lower vibrational state. So therefore, the output was going to be in perception of the fixed consciousness, which is the third dimensional consciousness. So you were going to interpret the reality in a lower vibrational state. So therefore, this is why we had a lot of the interpretations of a lot of the perceived expanded awareness in a denser state of understanding, because it was filtering through the biology, right? The filtering through the biology from a fixed vibrational state of energy, which was the third density consciousness, because we did not integrate the light quotient in the biology. So we were aware in the expansion, because we began to seek the expansion, right? But we did not do the integration. We did not integrate. So we did not let go the belief systems. We did not release the belief system. So we were still holding on to the ideology and what that looks like. We were incorporating the expansion of awareness, right? And we were integrating the expansion of awareness right along with the illusion of separation, right along with the ideologies of the limited version of self. So we were taking the expansion of the higher light quotient, and instead of releasing the density of the limited version of self that was orchestrating the third density of consciousness, or the fixed reality, the vibrational state that housed the fixed reality, merging that out of the biology, right? The threat-based biology. We were taking the higher quotient of the aware information and filtering it with the limited energies that ran the third density reality. So that was what was creating the distorted perception of the expanded awareness reality. So this is why a lot of expanded awareness was able to be perceptualized through distortion. Okay, so this is why you got a lot of distorted information that's out there that is operating from a level of expanded awareness, right? You peel back the layers from that to which was offered in the 3D awareness, right? The fixed reality. Okay. The everyday, you peel back the layers from that to which, were your everyday, and you became aware that there's more to meet the eye. But because you didn't release the codex in the biology to make room for the light quotient to come in, to allow you to be able to have a higher vibrational state, to understand and project the higher light quotient, right? Right? That makes sense, cause yes, right? So we were internalizing and we were understanding this expanded sense of information from a distorted perception, because we did not release, right, the limited or fixed vibrational state that is integrated in the biology, right, that I was talking about on the last live, right, that kept us in survival reality. Okay, survival consciousness. Okay, survival consciousness is what we perceive and understand to be 3D consciousness, right? Okay, survival consciousness is different from that to which we, call poverty. But, poverty is a part of survival consciousness. It's how you perceive the reality in a fixed reality. Okay, a fixed reality. Okay. So I want you to get this. So that's how the distortion came into the mix. Yes, we began to have the expanded reality. We began to expand, but because we didn't clear the codex in our biology, that expanded awareness through the biology became distorted, because we were still housing the illusion of separation. We were still housing a lot of the density, right, that allowed for the fixed reality of the threat-based reality of the consciousness that was allowed for the fixed reality of the 3D reality to commence, right? The limited consciousness to commence. Hi, Mary. Hi, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful. And welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just coming from court, you guys. I had a Zoom court meeting today, so it's just... But I'm grateful. I'm grateful everything came out to be wonderful and amazing. So I'm grateful. So that's how, so that's why when we begin to hear about a lot of the expanded awarenesses and different things of that nature filtered through a biology that was still operating from a 3D state or a fixed reality state. That is what created the distortion, because we didn't have the capacity to hold the light of the expanded consciousness, right? The expanded consciousness, because we did not release the illusion of separation. All that encompassed the survival reality, the belief systems and the indoctrines and the programs, all of that houses a vibrational state. Okay, all of those hold a frequency. So that density of frequency has to be dissolved in order for the higher frequency of the expanded awareness to become integrated into the biology, so that the true essence of the expanded awareness could be perceived in that reality of light, in a new reality of light, so that you now can see a different reality, experience a different reality in a higher calibration of light. Once you now release the frequency bands of the fixed reality of the survival reality, okay? The survival reality, okay? So we've been operating. Yes, you gotta switch, right? You gotta turn it off. You gotta dissolve the reality. So we were experiencing some of the expanded awareness, but we were having some perceptions of expanded awareness, but we were operating it from a fixed perception of energy, because we did not integrate the light quotient to come in through the biology to protect the reality. So a lot of us, that's why a lot of us was angry and mad and moving through the perception of expanded awareness through the illusion of separation in that light quotient. And so that's where a lot of the distortion was still commencing from, even through what we perceive as spirituality, or what they call it, the new age and all this other kind of stuff, in separation. Because we were still our biology was still integrated in the 3D reality, in light quotient, in the light quotient of the 3D reality, in the density of the light quotient of the 3D reality, because we never purged. We never merged. We never purged, right? We were still fully embodied in frequency of the fixed reality of consciousness. The consciousness was still operating energetically, vibrationally, and in frequency in our nervous system of the fixed reality, right? So let me give you my definition of, and I wrote it down because I wanted to be precise and concise of how I understand my now moment of expanded consciousness. And I wrote it down. Expanded awareness allows for one to have the chosen ability to experience a perception beyond the limited scopes and constructs of the fixed reality of the 3D consciousness awareness projectional lens experience in physical form. So in essence, it's like your chosen expression of your expanded awareness affords you the ability at minimum to observe limited fixed realities from a neutral perspective, with an innate understanding that you do not have to participate in that reality without compromising the existence of your own reality. That is a keynote sign that your consciousness is expanding when you become aware that your reality is not fixed and integrated in a threat-based consciousness, right? That is a keynote sign. When you're able to step out of the circumference and you are able to at least observe the fixed reality, and you can see the fixed reality for what it is. You're able to observe the fixed reality. You're able to see that it's now the illusion of separation. You're able to see that it is a fixed reality. You're able to see all the components and everything, at least from an observational perspective. And that's where that saying, seek outside of the circumference from that to which you have been taught and told. That means that now you have become the observer of the reality, because now you have the ability to seek outside the circumference of what you have been taught and told. So if you have the ability to now be in the at least in the observer aspect, you have somewhat shifted out of the fixed reality. And that's when you now know that you have began to enter the expanded awareness. Now, and you have awakened. You are aware. You are actually aware. Okay? So what was happening is that people were becoming aware, but they were still integrated into the fixed reality. And so they were integrating the energy from their nervous system into that essence of awareness, because no one really understood that you had to purge. So they integrated their expansive awareness into that to which the biology was still operating from a survival state of the fixed consciousness. And that is what created the distortion between the expanded awareness and to that to which was still fixed in the biology of the physical plane, because no one really got the memo energetically, because they were still operating from that lower vibrational state that you had to purge. You had to purge, right? And no one wanted to let go of that reality, and that's what the survival reality is. You identify with the survival reality and you will defend the survival reality. Even when you are aware of, and that's how strong survival reality is, that a lot of people don't want to integrate because their biology don't feel safe. The biology is one of the hardest part in terms of integration. Is really the hardest part to deal with. And, you know, the biology is like, wait a minute, is this safe? Is this safe? Is this safe? And this is where the manifestation. So that's why, believe it or not, a lot of people's wealth is through survival. So if a lot of people's wealth is through survival. Now, yes, can they shift and become integrated and still, yeah, but a lot of people's wealth is through survival. No, but everybody afraid to go on the other side of the rainbow because they don't know what's on the other side. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody don't remember the other side of the rainbow. Okay. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. Right. So a lot of folks' wealth right now is in survival. Okay. Because they don't know the other side of the rainbow. They don't remember the other side of the rainbow, I should say. They don't remember, but they already on the other side of the rainbow. They just don't know that's what that is. But I digress because I don't want to get nobody confused. But the expanded awareness, right, is when now you are able to observe the realities, and you are now also understanding where you are at in terms of your biology. So you begin to peel back the layers, you become more aware, and then you realize that you got some work to do, and there you go. Okay. Now, the only way, to be honest, you're going to know where you are at, because a lot of people are aloof and they think that they are in fifth dimensional consciousness. You may be housed in the consciousness, but until you integrate, you are perceiving that fifth dimensional, that expanded awareness, and from a distorted lens. You're perceiving it through a distorted lens until you integrate the biology. Because remember, your the awareness, yes, but the perception, how it's going to project, right? It's until you get that body, that biology, the reality is going to look from a denser state of being. You're going to still project, a fixed reality or a denser essence of being. Okay? Because that's what the biology has to begin to feel that it's safe enough to emit that light to project that reality. And only you have the ability to make that a reality with your biology. But you first have to become aware that that's what that is, so that you can begin to make the necessary agreements with yourself to make that a truth for you. So expanded awareness, many of us have we've peeled back some layers and realized certain things. And many of us is not as deeply integrated into the fixed reality. Okay, we do see things, and we have expanded our awareness, and we do, realize certain things. And, like I was listening to this guy, and he was talking about the aliens and stuff like that. But his whole interpretation of the aliens coming in is through survival state. So he's bypassing, he's looking at this whole perception from a distorted lens, because he has not integrated his expanded awareness through, his biology is still operating from a denser perceptionary measure, because he has not cleared out the illusion of separation. He has not cleared out the distortion. He is moving from the perception of a denser form of reality, right? So therefore, he's saying that he still wants to experience the expanded awareness in survival state. So it's like, so you have to begin to, and so that's a method of distortion. That's a distorted lens. Okay, that's a distorted lens. So you're gonna get a distorted lens when you don't clean out the cache. You don't filter out the cache. If you want to hold higher light quotients to experience expanded reality, you have to let go of the limited perceptions that gives you the limited reality. You got to let it go. You got to let it go of these survival realities. All right? You got to let it, you got to flush it, right? You got to flush it, okay? Yeah, you got to flush it. And and this is, once again, this is how I understand my now moment. This is my perceptionary measures of how I understand my now moment. Now, the reason why I have this written, because I took what I wrote and I put it in ChatGPT so that it could give me a practical translation, right? And so what I wrote and the translation says what I wrote in translation. Let me see if it got it here. It says that expanded awareness simply means is that you start realizing that the way you've been seeing reality is not the only way reality exists. And because of that, you gain the ability to step back and observe situations without feeling like you have to react to them or become them. You can see something clearly without needing to participate in it. And that is a powerful shift, because it means your reality is no longer controlled by fear, pressure, or old patterns. It means you're starting to understand that your experience is not fixed. It's something you're aware of and can choose within. So that was the translation of what I wrote. in a more practical sense of understanding. So that's what I'm going to do sometimes. Like, I'm going to take the gist of what I am going to talk about, and I'm going to have it translated in a practical sense and read both sides, so that way you guys can have an understanding. Okay. So expanded awareness is, it is a liberated sense of understanding, where you can pick, choose, and refuse how you want to now experience reality, right? But in order to get the higher quotient of light, in order to experience it in a higher vibrational state, you have to begin to let go of the denser belief systems, okay? The denser belief systems and the denser programs, so that you can make room in your biology for the light quotients to be able to project that reality. And a lot of beings, and what may make that difficult for some beings to allow for that to be, is if you go to them and tell them, and I'm always use this, that racism doesn't exist, poverty doesn't exist, black on black crime doesn't exist. And someone is going to tell you, yes, it does, Patrice, it does exist. And I'm going to say, yes, it does exist. But if you do not want to hold the frequency anymore into the biology, you're going to have to say that the reality, the frequency that holds resonance to those experiences, and anything that resonates in that frequency of that fear-based realities, all of those fear-based realities that holds resonance to those frequencies, you're going to have to dissolve them. So whatever have you attached to those fear-based, because it's in your world, whatever is in your world. Okay. So if you are a African American person, and these are the constructs in your reality that is attuned to fear-based reality, where you black on black crime, racism, separation, poverty, redlining, all of these things that has been cultivated in the illusion of separation, affirmative action, and all of these many different things that has placed you in some type of, disparity and different things of that nature, and placed you in some type of, displacement, and make you feel less than that to which you truly are in truth. That has cultivated your reality that you have basically agreed in. You have to make an assessment of yourself, of what you have agreed to, that has cultivated your reality, that you have said, yes, this is what I have chosen to experience in this, in the limited consciousness, in survival consciousness, based off of me, myself, and my religious belief. I chose to believe that, money was the root of all evil. I chose to have, a problem with the essence of reception and the ability to receive. So these are all of the fixed reality vibrational states that I have chosen to be a part of my repertoire of being in the fixed reality. So these are the things in the lower mind, in the lower density, in the fixed reality, in the lower vibrational states, in the fear-based essence of reality that my biology is in agreement with. That's basically saying, I know what you might think that you have in terms of an expanded awareness, but I have to trust that it's okay to expand. So you're going to have to plug all of that out, because that's what you have decided to cultivate. So that's what you have to plug it out in order to now participate in the let the light quotient in for the expanded awareness. I don't know who's sending me the hearts, but thank you. I'm so grateful. I Hi, T-Love. Hi, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. So, yes. So, whatever you went shopping for that has, that you got plugged in your personal reality, because everybody is cultivated differently. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is cultivated differently. So in my world, it might be religion. It might be working for the construct, working for the man. It could be, what is it called? Politics. It could be, just, whatever has cultivated. It's hard for me to think about it now because I've gotten rid of a lot. I've gotten rid of all of them. So it's hard for me to come up with a lot of them because it's no longer a part of my truth. Right? So I had to get rid of everything that created a denser me or the frequency that hi, Abdul Abdin. Hi, my beautiful friend. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning in. And I'm so delighted and divinely to have you here. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. So I had to make room for the higher light quotient to come in, for the expanded awareness. So when the information of the expanded awareness come in, it's not coming and in to be presented through a distorted lens. Because otherwise, if I do get the expanded awareness, then the lens that is going to be projected through the consciousness is going to be distorted because I'm still holding on to the illusion of separation, ideologies, all of the densities that still projects fixed realities in a denser, lower density vibration. So that's why you got a lot of people that are in spirituality. They mad. Oh, it's going to come down, and they're upset because they're still in that survival state because they don't want to let go of that reality. They don't want to the biology is processing expanded awareness, right? Yeah, through distorted lenses. The biology is processing what they've sought outside the circumference. They've sought wisdom, but they're not able to integrate the higher frequencies of that wisdom into the biology on the physical plane because they are not willing to let go of the survival reality of the lenses of the survival consciousness. They're not willing to let go of the lenses of the survival consciousness to make room for the light quotient of the expanded reality. So now the expanded reality is operating through a different light quotient through the biology. So now you got the spiritual lens of extraterrestrial information and all this other kind of stuff that they may have came across by seeking outside the circumference of what they've been taught and told through expanded awareness. Now they got that information, that higher volume of information, that higher light quotient being seen and projected through distorted lens because the biology is still in fight, flight, or freeze. The biology is still in fight, or freeze. So that is the reason why integration is very key and essential for ascension. Okay. That's why it's very important for integration because you gotta let it go. I'm gonna keep singing that song. Y'all gonna get sick and tired of me singing that song. And if I didn't let go of do you think I'd be able to sit here and articulate what I'm articulating now clearly and cogently if I didn't let go of a lot of the density so that the light quotient can come into my biology? I had to let go. I had to let go of some stuff. And I still got to let go of some. Like the other day, I had to sit here and say, okay, something ain't right. Something ain't right. I had to find something in the background. Some kind of program is running in the background that I'm not understanding. And I had to sit here and figure it out. Right? But if I didn't have the awareness to realize what frequency bandwidth is running in the background, I wouldn't have been able to resolve and dissolve. And that's what expanded awareness brings you into the realization of what density reality frequency you're still housing. Because you are now aware enough, you're becoming more aware that you have the ability to shift energetically. Like even with the Bible, everything is through how light projects the reality. So that same Bible, when you get a different light quotient coming in through the biology, you will begin to see that same information from a different projection, because now the consciousness is no longer operating from a fixed reality or a threat-based reality, because it's no longer operating from a denser state of perception. It's no longer in fight, or freeze. It's no longer, in a threatened state where it cannot perceive the where it's out of that inability to perceive another reality without being threatened by it. Okay? And that's the beauty about understanding expanded awareness. Okay? Because right now, many beings are expanding their awareness, but they are operating from a distorted lens if they are not allowing some of the light quotient to come into their biology. And the only way that you are able to allow some of the light quotient to come in is that you got to get rid of one of the major ones, and that's the fear-based reality. The fear one is the densest one. The fear-based one is one of the major denser ones. Illusion of separation. I got rid of the major ones. That illusion of separation was one of the major ones, and that fear-based one. So I got rid of the major ones, the major denser ones, and that's why I was able to hold more light, because I got rid of I dissolved the illusion of one of the major denser realities. And that's because I don't even know how I knew to do that, but I just knew to do that. And it was through my somatic essence of ancient memory. In like we have, okay, I was going to go into wealth consciousness, right? Because I think a lot of people was misconceptualizing what I was saying about wealth. Money is a byproduct to that to which who you are. Okay? Wealth consciousness is consciousness. So if you achieved any type of money and you are able to make money in with the biology in the fixed reality, then you were able to acquire your wealth in a fixed reality. A fixed reality is a limited reality. You was able to acquire your wealth in a fixed reality, right? In survival reality. So the money is a byproduct of that to which who you are. Okay? You acquire your wealth, and survival is not bad or good. It's just that's the state of consciousness, the state of being that resulted in how you were able to, experience reality. It's just consciousness. It's how consciousness is choosing to experience and express. Now consciousness is choosing to experience and express without from an expanded perceptionary base, without limitations. Okay? That's the only difference. All right? So it's not to say that it's bad or good. It's just the whole perception of how consciousness is choosing to express now has shifted from that to which is fixed and contracted and limited to now to that which is expanded. The field has expanded. Now you got more room to play. You got more room to play. You got more room to choose from and different things of that nature. Your field is open now. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was there. Oh, I didn't know that was there. Oh, I didn't know that was there. Whoa, wow, whoa. And the light quotient, from which now you were limited from, has now become more expanded. But you have to integrate that within the biology chosen to experience it in the physical plane. So these are the particulars and different things of that nature, and when you're moving and operating. Okay? But because we chose survival reality, your money we operated a better lens, a more clearer lens. So instead of, you remember one time we used to operate from them 40-watt bulbs, and then maybe not, cause I'm putting out there how old I am. But I remember the time when my grandmama came in the house with a 1,000-watt bulb, and we was like, woo! Cause we have been dealing with 25 watts, 35 watts, 40-watt bulbs. And then when she first bought a 1,000-watt bulb in the house, we was, oh, okay. So, like, woo! So, yeah. So, it's right? Yeah, so, you laughing at me, man. Yeah, I was like, woo! That was a big deal on the field. We can see. We can see that, So, awareness expanded. Yes, awareness expanded. Right? Expanded awareness. So it's a beautiful thing, and I love being in this space. Y'all laughing. I like to make y'all laugh. Yeah, it was. Shoot, it was like, I was a kid though, but it was like, woo, we could see. Child got to see some things that we didn't even know was there. We were like, oh. What we thought was clean wasn't clean. You know what I'm saying? We were half cleaning sometimes. We were like, that light reveals some things. It's so funny though, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, light reveals. That ain't no lie. Okay? Light do reveals. I ain't gonna lie. Light reveals. Light reveals. Okay? That ain't no lie. Cause you turn on some real light, you start seeing some things. You start seeing some things that you ain't see. For real. You ain't see it. Light reveals. But grandma showed some things like, yeah, you said you cleaned up over there. But what I see over there, well, I ain't see that. I ain't see that till you brought that 1,000-watt up in here. Okay? So you couldn't even hide nothing no more. You couldn't even hide. You said you cleaned over there. I ain't see that. Yeah, light reveals some things. Okay? Yeah, light reveals some things, but I just wanted to, give a beautiful essence of expansion of consciousness. And I took the time to write down my understanding of expansion of consciousness. Now, I ain't see that. That light, put that light in the room, and you wish you could go and screw it out. can't reach it. You can't reach it, but yeah. Beautiful thing, though. Beautiful thing. So everyday experiences, and one of the everyday experiences that I'm bringing to you that is really major in terms of how distorted things really are, because people don't understand the importance of the integration process of the expansion of, the expanded consciousness in the proper light quotient, so that you can get the higher awareness, right? And understand the awareness in this higher level of consciousness, right? And the expanded awareness of consciousness in the light quotient is that you got to purge. You got to purge out the densified consciousness, or the limited consciousness, and you have to pull the plug. And for many people in survival consciousness, it's very difficult, because that's the reality that they know, and they are afraid to come on the other side of the rainbow. But that's where we are. That's why I'm doing that's why many of us are here, to show that it's safe. It's safe to come on this side of the rainbow. I'm still here. I'm still whole. I'm still intact. I'm still moving. I'm still sticking and moving. And my reality, the beauty about this space is that you are aware of the other realities. And my light quotient, I still have programs that I had to deal with just like yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, something ain't right. What is it? What's running in the background? Because I'm aware of something, and I'm not going to speak on it because I'm trying to dissolve it. But I'm aware of something, and then I'm like, okay, what is running in my background energetically? And I had to sit down and I had to do some things, and I figured it out. But now I'm able to do the work within myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to run the Rolodex now and say, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with that. Okay, so what emotionally am I not okay with? What triggered my nervous system? So I started talking to myself and playing down roles. And when I got to a part that make my nervous system rise, I said, aha. When it make my chest tighten up, aha. Right? And what I found out, okay, I will share. What I found out is that I don't have a problem with like giving money. But what I have a problem with is receiving. And when somebody tried to give me money and stuff like that, I tighten up. I have a problem with receiving. And my nervous system, for whatever it was in, whether it's through lineage, whether it's through some type of traumatic experience, or whether it's through epigenetics, right? Now, and then I had to break it down even further. I don't have a problem with receiving money through a paycheck, or finding money on the ground, or a check coming a mail. Hell, I don't even have a problem if I won the lottery. I have a problem with a personal exchange, right? Won't take a damn thing. Yeah. I have a problem with a personal exchange, a exchange that has an emotional tie. I don't want nothing from you. I have a problem with a personal exchange. And that's when my nervous system responds. Yes. Yeah. So that's because, and that's a survival trigger. So when you begin, so this is, and if I did this myself, because I have made room for the light quotient to come in to assist me with myself. That was my trigger response. Right, it's an emotional time. And most times it is emotional, because emotions is what causes a lot of the trauma. Emotional trigger response, because that's the greatest of energy, emotion. That's what creates the charge. Emotional charge. That's what creates the charge. The emotional charge is what creates the charge in your nervous system, the frequency that like how they give you a defibrillator to bring you back, energy charge, the energy charge. That's the emotional charge. The emotional charge. right? So I had to, but you have to be attuned and in tune with your nervous system, your biology. You have to be coherent with yourself. You got to be on board. You got to be in knowledge of. You got to be in knowing of self. You got to be know thyself. You got to choose self. Like everything that I've been telling y'all, you got to choose self, know thyself, be in knowledge of self. You got to be one with self. You got to be all of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only, that's how I'm just, that's why I'm exampling it and I'm being authentic. And I said that I won't depart from my authenticity because I understand that it houses a frequency. But what I will do, I'll take my authenticity, I'll run it, and then I'll give you guys a practical. So that way, both sides, it'll be two instead of one. But I'm not giving up my authenticity. I'm not giving up my authenticity because I have to be myself. That's just how it goes. Okay. All right. So I'll run it, and then read it. I'll write it down and read it verbatim. And put it out there, and because I can, I write it, and that's how I write. What I read to you guys, that's exactly how I write. That's me 110%, 90 going north. Now that's me. Okay. And I put it in for translation. So I just wanted to give you an expanded awareness. For some reason is a lot easier to explain. Now the survival self, which I will go back to because there's so much to give examples from the survival self, so that you guys can begin to understand what the survival self looks like. And some of the clips that I'm going through to break it down in small sizes so that you guys can begin to see different things. I'm like, wow, it's a lot. But, at the same token, I want you guys to understand what this actually looks like so that when you are ready to choose self, because it is a choice. And the thing is that it may not be pretty. Because the thing about, but also the thing about it is this, as I was saying, in the long version of the live, if you understand that you don't impose with expansion of consciousness, it has to be chosen. Expansion, if you understand that expansion of consciousness is a chosen state of being. It is a choice. Just like anything else, it is a choice. But more importantly, the reason why it is more so of a choice than anything, because survival reality is so deeply embedded into a denser state of expression and experience. Survival consciousness is that it perceives itself so deeply in density that it doesn't have any coping mechanisms to even hear you without it being ready to be open to hear you, because it only knows the reality that it has chosen until it's open enough to be ready to hear something else or to perceive something else. Right? Because remember, if they have chosen, if they have expanded their awareness to the point where they have sought out expansion of consciousness, and they're talking about aliens, they're talking about Ra, they're talking about, his story and different things of that nature, but they're still perceiving an expanded sense of understanding to a degree that they may call his story or different things of that nature. Or, some people are, talking from an expanded awareness, but they're projecting it through a distorted lens. Can you imagine that? That it's so, the biology is so tough that they won't even let go of the illusion of separation and the fear-based sense of understanding, the fear-based concept. They won't even let it go, not even for the expanded awareness. They're still matriculating it through the biology, through the thickness of the survival consciousness. Right? So that's why it's important to just, when you get into the state and you have chosen this reality and you've chosen to expand the reality, I've learned the hard way, just keep it to myself. Just don't tell nobody. Just keep it to myself. Because in my early stages, and even now, right, I wanted to tell everybody. Man, I was trying to be Captain Save Somebody. I wanted everybody to know, oh man, this was the best news since a slice of bread. I wanted everybody to know, but I got slapped. When I tell you, it was just like I got slapped up and down. Listen. And that's because I wasn't fully, I was just going down, I was just going down the Soul Train line and just getting hit, just getting hit. Well, I was still dancing and just getting hit, I was still there, but I didn't know. I didn't know, and I was just determined to take them licks. You know what I'm saying? But now I know. You can't impose, you can't force this on nobody. And this is why a lot of beings that do finally, get the gist of what this really is. It's not that they abandon you. It's just that you can't hear it. They can't hear you. Especially if they are integrated deeply into survival consciousness, a fixed consciousness. And even if they have expanded some sense of awareness and they have not chosen to integrate that light into their biology by removing the programs and the belief systems that are attuned to the density energetically of the fixed reality and the survivor reality, and they're operating from a distorted lens. If they ain't even removed any of it, then what does that say? So it's you have to even let them go, because they're perceiving reality. They're perceiving the potential of an expanded reality through distorted lens, energetically, vibrationally, and in frequency, because of the biology not being integrated with the higher light. So I just wanted to bring some sense of clarity to the best of my ability, and I hope that I served, that essence. And anything that I've said here today, because I didn't do my initial disclaimers, everything is heavily alleged, that has been placed out there for public consumption, that I spoke upon, right? Heavily alleged, right? Because I didn't do my disclaimers. And another thing too, also, I'm going to do a live on the wealth consciousness, because I think that's the most important thing a lot of people are looking for. But it all encompasses consciousness on a whole. And it all encompasses on the physical plane, the biology. And that's the part that many of us are not understanding at the full range. And so I'm going to explain it to the best of my ability, because a lot of us don't want to do. We're in a space where we have our essence has chosen. So if we go against the grain of what our true essence has chosen, then our wealth, unless we really it might impose a level of difficulty until we really sit down and have a conversation with ourselves. Because I told my husband, I said, I know what my truth is, and it doesn't have any choice but to be that to which I have chosen. And so that's how solid I am. And the thing of it is that I know what my truth is, but I don't know where it's coming from. But I just know what my truth is. I just know that my truth is what it is. And I'm open to how it may materialize on physical form, because now I'm expanded, if that makes any sense. And you only can get like that is when you have, eliminated a lot of the density. But then that has to be a true things. And a lot of people are, when you move through a limited mindset, a limited frame, it's hard to get into that space because the identity within the perception of the nervous system don't feel that is safe, right? They don't feel that it's safe. Now, there are some people too, and I'm going to do a little bit about the wealth. You do hear some people that say, I'm going to take risk. I'm going to take risk. And what happens when you find people that's willing to take risk? If you convert that, that's just something that is within their DNA, right? That they're just lucky that the light quotient in their DNA has just given them ability to overwrite certain survival codes, that they're just being a little bit fifth dimensional. You know what I'm saying? Because they just feel safe. They ain't taking no risk. They just feel safe to just do it. They just feel safe. They just feel that's just a safety code. What the 3D mind would call a risk. That's just an override within how the nervous system is perceiving that aspect within them, as they just feel safe to do it. They just feel safe. They have a little bit more, their nervous system is not attuned in that frequency to have a fear of doing it. Right? So, it's just the way that, a lot of us is cultivated in the experience too as well. That's why I say everybody energy signature, even in the consciousness of the survival experience or the limited experience, it is contoured. It is unique to you. Only you know how your nervous system respond and react to certain experiences that you have chosen to experience within this experience. Only you. If it makes you contract, then that's something that you need to, visit in terms of, is this got me my draws in the bunches? And that's how you begin to determine what to let go, what to release, and different things of that nature. And that's just the beginning. But as you begin to encompass more light within yourself, if you allow that, it'll start dissolving. you'll start seeing little things starting to dissolve. And then you'll start to know. And a key thing with me, and I can only tell you how it is with me and how I understand my now moment and, you know, what has happened to me. A key thing that I realized is how my biology respond, because I wasn't well. And now I'm feeling way different in my biology, way different. You can ask my husband. I was complaining 2 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. Woo! And now I feel way different. Yes, Kylie Cause. Yes, a lot more regulated. Yes. That's how you begin to know. Yes. So, big difference. So, I'm not going to keep up with you guys with too much time, but I just wanted to put that out there because I did put the, you know, one side, and I wanted to come and put the other side out there, the survival reality, survival consciousness. Now I'm putting the expanded consciousness out here, so that we can have a sense of wholeness, just a little bit, touch bases on it. It's way more, you know, intricate, and then this simplified version of it, but you know, I'm quantum simplified, but at least it'll get you through the door. All right, you guys. I love you guys immensely. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, amazing day. All right. And we shall do this one more again on the next go around. All right. Oh, thank you for the love. Thank you. All right. And I'll talk to you guys later.